This is Max Earl. This is DexTrader.com. This is the midweek webinar for 5/31/17. Say adios to May and hello to June. You're halfway through the year almost. All right, we have a lot of stuff to kind of discuss. Not to seem too morbid, but it's, oh man. If you guys had a week, if you had a holiday over the weekend, Memorial Day, to those that served and lost, we do salute you. I have personally grieved for my friends and family that I've lost over in war, and I appreciate anybody who has that same opportunity to be thankful for those that have served for us and gave their lives. In today's webinar, we are going to talk about money. Here's the earnings and risk disclaimer. Everybody knows that this is about education and trade assistance only, and all results may vary. When I first started this webinar today, usually I get in the office pretty early, and 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I started putting tidbits down. I did an email yesterday, or a video called the AHA for the NA intraday. It's pretty eye-opening, right? Lots of stuff great happening. News avoidance intraday, right? News avoidance, let's remember that for a moment. News avoidance, right? And then something happened this morning that sort of contradicted. I don't know what happened, and we're going to find out. I know a little bit of what happened, but I'm going to sort of let you know what happened today at the 11 o'clock expiry. And I'm going to punch it in its face. And I'm going to apologize now because I'm not in the best of moods when it comes to my intraday stuff. I'm going nuts. We're going to talk about dailies. We're going to talk about Dex beta testing. And we're going to talk about the webinar, A Trader's Mind. Yeah, did you know that? Did you guys know that? There's a new webinar system coming for Trader's Mind. We call it a Master Series. It's yummy. Yes, wait till you see. It's going to be cool. All right, let's get started. So what the hell happened? Yesterday I made this video. If you go to the signals page, it's right on the page. I'm also going to put it into this page as well. Let me see if I can find it right here. I'm going to copy and paste it right into the old brain pan there. Let's see here. Back here. Right there. So in the chat room, there it is. If you're watching this after the fact, that link is in the description of this video. Okay. I made that video because I had gone back through, I had looked at the news avoidance program. It was working like a charm. Everything was happening so yummy and wonderful, and everything was so great, and everything was looking so beautiful. And then, and I say, and then, this happened. From 9:15. Now, this 9:15 to 10 o'clock is not really a natural loss, because at 10 o'clock this morning, the news release for the 3-bull pending home sales. Now, something was a little off to me. Okay, 9:45. There should have been no signal popping, right? There should have been no signal popping, even if it was some sort of glitch at the 10 o'clock hour or what have you. Half hour before, if there's going to be news. If news releases the top of the hour that affects a particular trade, it's not to fire. That's the rules I wrote into it. I wrote the rules into it. So 9:45 disclaimed it, right? Should have killed it. And the 10 o'clock should have killed it. Right? If it was just one bull, it wouldn't have mattered. Okay? All that killed it. So what happened was that the 9:45 news and the 10 o'clock news pushed this process into the bad zone, right? This is basically how our system works. We have our signal server, okay? This is our signal server. And signals fire off and they go to the website and they show up on Dex Signals or Dex Trader, right? They actually pass through the system, right? And they'll show up on Dex Signals and Dex Trader. But for Dex Trader, it's just the end result, right? It's just another place to put them at. So this is Dex Trader. Now, some of our things go to all of our signals run through security system, right? So in fact, in between this, there's a little security bar that makes sure that nobody can view the signals prior to them showing up on the site. But some of our signals go through another server, and this is called a filtering server. And this filter server is the news avoidance process. where it sees, if we expand this out a little bit, it sees all the different news processes that happen and creates a time amount. This is at 9 o'clock, this is at 10, this is at 9:45, and it gives it a weight, a number, if you will, and says if it's above this number, then when the signal comes through it, right? We have certain signals that go through that system. The NA intradays are some of them. SR maxes are some of them. Our Forex system was some of that, but we took that off the filter. Okay, and so when it goes through that filter, anything that applies to that weight will say if the score for the news combined, right, is more than a certain amount, don't let the signal show up on the site. If it is, then if it's okay, then let the signal show up on the site. That's how it works. All of this seems very complicated, but actually it's quite simple, right? The news has weight, physical weight. How much news is there? What kind of news is it? Is it 1 bull, 2 bull, 3 bull? Is it part of a system for what we have? Is it the USD? Is it JPY? What is it, right? Does it have a weight? Can it affect? Sometimes, if there's a 2-pull JPY, right? Sometimes, if it doesn't have enough weight, now we've used the data that we had for thousands and thousands and thousands of signals, that if the JPY has a 2-bull and it doesn't have enough weight to it from previous releases of that same news, because remember, the effectiveness of how much that market gets moved over a certain period of time gets calculated into what we refer to as the weight. And when that happens, it will sometimes say, okay, well, the JPY only has a 13% chance to affect the market. So let's release the USD stuff, right? Not the USD JPY, but maybe Euro USD. Okay. So we might might be some times that this will happen. So I'm not sure why the weight classification didn't work this morning, and that's what failed this morning. For some reason, the weight that was attributed to that news pack that happened at 9:45 and at 10 o'clock didn't keep the signal from firing through. And that's what happened this morning. So pretty frustrating when certain things. Now, again, this may seem very complicated, and then it looks complicated because I'm scribbling all over the place here. But in all fairness, it's only really 3 systems in here: the signals, the filter, and the website that they appear on. And if one part of it fails, if the signal fails and it doesn't show up, then that's what it becomes. Sorry for the noise in the background. I have my window open because it's a nice day. And if one of these things fails, it doesn't show up or it shows up incorrectly. At this point, with transparency being what it is, I'm very sorry if you got in there and you got trades without looking to see if it was news. I went to go do one of the trades this morning and got distracted and did it. So luckily, I didn't get suffered through that. But I did get a few phone calls about, hey, look, you just had almost every single one of these failed. And they weren't sure why, and then they looked at news and seen that there was news. So it got brought to my attention by another person. So I appreciate those that are looking out, and thank you, Ryan, for contacting us. Ryan's one of those traders that you rarely ever will hear from unless there's something wrong. So when I seen his phone call this morning, I knew something was happening. So that's basically what happened. All should still be good. I will be checking that system, but until then, I want you to check the news. Right? I do apologize. It's crazy. It's a trash truck going down the street. Go figure. And I'm pretty far from the road. They're pretty loud. So please check the news prior to. If a news event is happening, please avoid it. Okay? Do your own NA intraday. You're going to have to probably do that for a little while until I absolutely make sure that everything's perfect with the system. Okay? So I'm going to let the signal still fire off. All right? But let's get back to something prior to this screw up happening this morning. But prior to this, in that video that you're seeing in the chat room and what you'll see in the description of this video, of this webinar, you will notice that there is a process of checking for your success. Okay? And what I mean by this is that if you are a data person, if you like to see where all this information comes from, just investigate the spreadsheet. Okay, just go to the spreadsheet and itemize it a little bit. Crap, you can copy and paste it into a spreadsheet of your own. These things are very, very simple to do, and I think I even show that in some of the videos. And we might even have some advanced stuff for that later. But let me tell you something. If you have that availability to kind of look at the data, you could sort out all kinds of things. Even from your own trading. When is the best time that you trade? Isolate what session is best for you. Isolate what pair is best for you. Isolate what time is best for you. Not so much what time works best for you, but what time you trade best at. We have a gentleman that trades with us. I'm not sure I should mention his name. He trades in 5 minutes. And this gentleman comes to us and he has a very difficult time, and I'll say with computers in general, okay, but having the ability to put things into a listing format, right, and making certain things happen. And this individual has a difficulty doing that. But what this individual had done is that he isolated one thing. He loves to trade, okay? He's got a passion for it, got a compassion for it as well. He loves to trade. He noticed that his USD JPY for his time period, okay, which I won't tell you because I'm not going to distract you for which one's best, but for him, right, he isolated his session. He isolated his variable. He isolated his session and his time, right? And he only trades during a certain period of time. And he trades a certain amount of trades. He'll never trade more than a certain amount of trades. And once he gets to a certain number, $300 or $400, whatever it is, okay, he says, right in the chat room, he goes, "I'm done. I made my day. I made my money. See you later," and won't do anything more. He's isolated, and I know this is not any intradays, but this is part of a classification of knowing what you need to what you want to what you're going to get and getting it. Not suffering through it, because he'll only do a certain amount of trades, maybe 5, right? If he does his 5 and he doesn't have his money, or if he's in the hole, okay, that's what it is for the day for him. And overall, the ROI is positive, consistently. Now, there's no one system fits all process, and that's what I sort of say and allude to in the video that we have done here, that you see in the chat room and that you'll see in the description of this webinar, is that the process of figuring this out is so individual. And I'm telling you, down to the minute, down to the micro minute for some. And you're going to see in things that are coming in the future with us that the mentality can be different from each individual, right? We can all agree with that. Each person has their own mentality, right? Each person has their own way of doing things, right? And at this point, is this person more successful than this person? No. They both can have their own ideal of success as well, where this person's amount of just $1 bill is not an idea of success for this person. This person needs $2 or $3 bills. But they do the same amount of work. They get the same result, but this person needs more. So he doesn't feel like he's a good success. So this guy's mentality is way off than what this person is. So it's about independence and individuality that will really create your own idea of success. But the moment you start peeking over the fence at somebody else's idea of success, like what I was just telling you about the individual who says, "I only need to make 300, I made my money today, I'll see you later." Made my money, sayonara, signing out. The moment you say to that person, "Well, what did you do? How can I do it exactly what you did?" You can't do exactly what I did because I did it. This is why, for me, even personally, I needed to let other people become successful, like Mike and Thor and other people in the network, to become successful at trading and show other people how to become successful from there. because not all of you can be me personally. And I come with my own my own downfalls, my own pitfalls, right? I'm a workaholic. I go a little bit of beautiful mind on the numbers sometime for me, right? Amy likes to I go off on tangents, if you will. She's going to punch me in the head for that one. Okay, so finding NA intradays, for what you're about to do. In that video, I say 8 and I think it's like 1 or 2 o'clock, right? So 1400, I say in the video. So 1400, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Try to trade in these areas. Find your own time. But this time is what I just showed you just in a few minutes of being on the video. This could be between 10 and 1 p.m. Maybe that's the only time you have available. You're trading, or maybe you're forcing the time to be, get up early, make it happen, tell your boss you're being late, whatever. I don't know. What I'm trying to explain is that, like I say in the video, you can find a way to make it work simply by making it work, right? Find the time to make it work by making it work. And that's going to be a big aha for most of you, is you can't force the world to be a better place for you. You have to make it a better place. There's your Tony Robbins minute. Because if you can't make it a better world, nobody's going to give it to you. You got to seize that. You got to take it and make it your own. I hate to bring this up in the same kind of manner, but the dailies, I get some battle from people in the dailies, right? And most of the battle comes from not people physically doing the dailies. Most people get the punch in the face from dailies because they only halfway go at the dailies, right? And what I mean by halfway go is that some people will go in, they'll put 1 or 2 working orders, and they won't fill, and they get all mad, right? They get all upset. Oh, I didn't fill. How come I can't fill them all? Or they go in and they see the great success rates of 96%, and they try to put a working order on everything, and they get the one that loses, and the others don't fill, or maybe one fills. So now it looks like they have 50% success, right? And then they get the people who go in and they go all at it, and they put it. They pay attention. They do what they're doing, and they get their money, and they're winning. They're killing it, and I never hear from them. I hear from them every once in a while. That's how I know that there's quite a few people in that are very successful with them. And then you get the people who don't even go in and do any of it, and they come back later and they write me nasty little emails, or they put stuff on YouTube or Facebook or what have you, and they go, well, these things don't fill. There's no way that this could be real. If the one doesn't fill, then it's fake. It's a fake signal system. And the answer is no, it's not. Signals, daily signals are the ones that started it all, but they are the most boring system known to man, in my eyes. Dailies are boring because you have to sort of be, like a sniper, if you will. When those signals come out, a block of 4 or 5 signals come out, the first thing you're going off to do is you better be looking at a chart. You're looking for a trend direction. You're looking for all these little values, right? You're looking for where is that the MACD at? How does it look? How long has it been going in this trend? You're validating. You're making a case. I think one of the gurus out there, he always says, you got to make a case to get into the trade. Well, yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. You have to make a case to get into the trade. You've got to become like a lawyer saying, all right, I got to defend my client. I got to get in. Why should I get into this trade over this one? Which one looks better? Well, this one's percent rate is 96%. This one's percent rate is 97%. This one's 92%. This doesn't mean how many times it fills and how many times you're going to win. If you played every single system in there, if every single one of them got filled. But what does this mean? This means that if you put a working order on that system and it fills, you have a 96% chance of winning it. That's pretty damn good. But if you only have a 30% chance of it filling, the success rate's still the same, folks. Do you understand? So no matter how boring dailies are, or how little they may look like they fill, right? Because what is a daily? And I've said this 1,000 times. A daily is a range trade. We say that we see over a period of time that this pair, if it's for a sell, right, should not close above this line at 10 p.m. Okay? And what normally happens, right, is that the market looks like this, right? It's pretty far away. It's usually about 20, maybe even 40, sometimes even 60 pips away from that position. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but on dailies, they happen in 20 pip movements, right? 20 pips. So no matter what it is, it doesn't really matter, because what happens on the dailies is that even if it does go like this and it's down here, what we're betting on is putting a working order on this statement, okay, or close to this statement, and that it comes back up and just barely gets to that point where it fills that pair. And then it goes on, and it has a 96% chance to do that, right? Sometimes if you put a working order on, what'll happen? The working order will get filled because the thing's going right past the line and it ends up here, right? But this is 4% chance for that to happen. Sometimes 7%. I don't think anything more than that. I'm willing to take that chance. But if it fills, part of the time it's filling, if there's a 30% chance of filling, right, it's going to fill if it's going to be on the loss. But now, here's another statistic for you. Most losses, most fills happen. The ones that lose fill within the last 15 minutes of the statement. So, my suggestion is to remove it at 16 minutes to the top of the hour. Remove your working order if it hasn't filled yet. Most of the time, when it fills within that first hour and a half of the trade, it's going to get that 96%. It's going to hit that run. These are statistics and data that I physically have, as well as other people have that told me. Now, there are some times where those dailies, right? We do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and some of you trade Friday. That's okay. Some of you trade Sunday, right? You might get one or two fills here, or maybe one here and then zero here because market was just too crazy. But you might get one or two, maybe three here. Sometimes you'll fill in here. You'll have a loss, maybe one in here, a couple of, whatever it might be, whatever your breakout is, and then you're starting all over again, and you got zero, and then you got a couple wins, and then you got another loss, and a couple more wins, and maybe a couple more wins, and whatever it is, right? We're just making stuff up here now. But whatever it is, overall, your ROI, as I've seen, always comes out on the positive at the end of the month. Over a 30-day period, whether or not your short-term loss run, right, gets killed, and you're only doing a certain amount. But what are we looking for here? We're looking for consistency. I'm going to do it. He's got to beat me to the punch. As soon as we find consistency, we do volume, which will equal our goal. And this is where it all began, with dailies and CVG. If you can't wrap your head around this, if you can't get this process of the dailies fill 30% of the time with a 96+% success rate, then go try one of the other systems. If you can't fathom this, if you can't do this, it's slow moving, it's methodical, it's boring as all get out, because you might go a couple of days without trades. You may not think you'll get to the end result. But once you fill 4 or 5 of them, 6 or 7, and you got 10 trades, 20 trades happening a week, and you're only losing 1 or 2 out of that, maybe 1, you'll begin to see why and how important CVG is in your life. Some of us are just too damn impatient, and I get it. I don't blame you. Okay, we talked about this a little bit. We'll just rehash a little bit. A working order will fill a loss. Yes, it will. But also know when to look left. Okay, when to look left and look at structure. Where are these numbers at? Does it look like it's going to come back to that, or has that level broken structure? Is that a good trade? Make a case for getting into a trade. This takes a couple, even a minute or two on a daily is okay. What is a great percentage to when you're looking on there? Well, the highest percentage rate of any of them looks great to get into. So if you have a 91% one over a 96% one, which one are you going to take? Right, the 96. Right? And of course, use the DPC. Why wouldn't you at any one time simply, that's a lot of icons. Why wouldn't you at any one time simply go to the DPC? If you were getting into a trade, let's say at 10 o'clock at night, and you would see the law of averages, right? That's what basically this is the law of averages. Here's the daily, right? Here's the DPC for the daily. Immediately, you should get to this and say, all right, well, a signal fired for the daily signal, okay? Let's just say the British Gold Pound JPY fired at 10:45. 10:45, let's see, how well did the British Gold Pound JPY do today so far in the last 24 hours? Oh, it's not doing so good. Did 60%. Itemize it out. Have a look at it. Tell me what's the best. Today it didn't do so good. This week it's doing 89%. Maybe not the greatest one to be in, even though it won in that particular case. Average pip ratio, 75 things. It may not come back to, you want to see pip ratio averages, 40, 50 pips, right? For that 2.5 hour. If it's too much, it might be, might be way too far out. Who knows? What's the best time session? Well, I'm in a New York session, so hey, 96.3 in New York. I think that might be the one. So you've made a case. Not so great today. For it, against it, for it, against it. If it's two in the middle, go with something else. But use the TPC at your advantage. If you had the Aussie J or the British Gold Pound JPY sitting next to the Euro British Gold Pound, I think that's a no-brainer. That's why this data is here. You're not just going to go to the dailies and just throw working orders on every single one of them. Be serious here. The market is always an ever-changing entity, right? It's like that jellyfish. You can never really say what it is. It's always moving. It's always becoming something a little bit disfigured at one point or another, right? The Euro JPY might be doing super good, right? Whereas the Euro British Gold Pound might be still ranging at that point. You might have a super trend happening on the Euro JPY, but because it's a euro doesn't mean that everything is heading in that direction. Right? So you might have opportunities that you're missing out or things you're getting into. You're making a case just by saying, I'll just get into it. But use the DPC. That's what it's there for. We spent a lot of money to make it and houses a lot of data, tremendous amount. I have an advanced version. I'll have to show you guys one day. I might show you what we're about to talk about. But wait till you see this thing. It's pretty wild. Okay. Next. It's finally here. Dex beta testing. It's finally here. We are very proud that it's available. And I just closed it out. Go figure. Let me open it up here. Dex beta. There we go. All right. Back here. I'm using my stylus to move around the board a lot today, so I apologize. All right, here's Dex beta testing. Now, why did we create Dex beta testing? And not to distract you or anything else, but because inside the main system over at Dex Trader, we had the Forex system running in there. And I don't think people really took enough advantage of some of the things that we were doing there. We made this because I needed to isolate out of prying eyes some of the things that we were doing, right? Here are the active data betas that we're doing. 4x educational signals, very powerful. Lots of information. You got to be a little bit more advanced trader to be able to do that. I'd say intermediate trader. Buy, sell, stop signals. We are. You can see what each one is as you go down the list here on what we're doing, what we're baiting. Baiting. I don't even know how you say that in an action, in a verb, I guess. But 4x SR signals. These are pretty powerful too. It's just about anything for the 4x side of it. We're also going to be invoking a few other smaller betas to take some of our active signals right now and apply them to other things like different spreads and other things in the system. So if you're wanting to become a beta with us, it does cost 67 bucks. If you're already a member, it's 57 because we take 10 bucks off for you. But it becomes part of you paying your way in to become part more with the company. This is where we're going to be really advancedly looking at senior traders and elite traders, people that help us build the company into this process. Because let me tell you, I'm not really super old. I mean, I'm only 47 years old, but I need as much help as I possibly can with people to come in and help us with other traders, and I need more senior traders. Mike is burning the candle at both ends, doing 5-minute people, and we have a tremendous amount of things about to happen, and we're going to need as many people as possible on deck. And the only way I could do it is with structure. And if you come in here, I'm going to put some few people in charge of this process to gather the data, to help all of you out, and get things started with most of you. So if you want to become a beta tester and you're going to be testing these advanced processes, you get a lot of advantage. You get more advantage to know what all these are and that they're coming out. So you'll get them before everybody else does. So you'll be a pro before it even hits the market. And you'll be able to help other people. You'll advance through our network. Okay, you'll immediately get elite status and into senior status and start working on that. And then you'll also get meetings with me. You'll get webinar stuff that we're going to be doing in actual meet. There's a difference between a webinar and a meeting. We use the same system to do a meeting where we'll hear your voice and we can talk to you and that stuff. But you'll get to take part and say some piece and be able to put in your 2 cents and show us in a journal. So you got to be able to do those things. All right. If you don't have that availability, I don't blame you. You can still be a beta tester and just take part in it, but you may not advance through it too much. Right. You'll get the things. You'll have access. You'll be able to test these things out to see if they work for you. This is where that ooh squirrel meets the rocket scientist kind of mentality, right? The muhaha moment, the mad scientist. So we're going to put, these are only 3 in here. We have about 4 other ones that we want to put in. But don't get distracted. Pick one and go for it, right? So if you want to do that, go to dexbetatesting.com right now. If you want to be a part of it, hit the Get Started button. If you got the code IMDEX, I think it is. That's what I think. Yeah, I think it's IMDEX. Okay, so if you're watching this, if you are a member already, or if you got sent out, if you were a member, you come back and what have you, IMDEX is the all one word, doesn't matter lowercase or uppercase. IMDEX. That's basically it, and get you 10 bucks off. All right. So it has had some wonderful success. We got some great things happening in there. There's quite a few people that have a hell of a lot of interest in being in there, and it's going to be growing even further. Whew. This next one's nerve-wracking. I guess I went sort of super quiet there for a second, but let me start this. A trader's mind. How many of you here in the room have gone through a trader's mind? Just by a little shout out in chat, say yes. Good. How many of you gone through it multiple times? Yeah. Mike says yeah. Yeah. McLean says yeah. Brian says 2. Yeah. Kerry Williams. Yeah, absolutely. The reason why most people, and I didn't realize it has sort of like an occult following happening right now, right? Because here's what's happening. The stats that go for a trader's mind is that the series has been viewed by 13,000 unique viewers. It's on Dex Signals. It's on Dex Indicators. And it was in one other place. It was out there in the world as a series on YouTube, right? So YouTube had a version of this where it's in a playlist. That's where a lot of views came. I didn't even realize it until I went and saw it. It's amazing. I didn't realize that many viewers went and saw this entire series. There are over 13,000 people, with everybody from Dex to Dex Indicators, Dex Trader, Dex Signals, and even into that YouTube version. 13,000 unique viewers. Over 1 million, if you combine all the videos in that series, which is like 20 or 30 of them, over 1 million views. Amazing, right? The average person went through and visualized this at four times a person. So the members have gone through this side of it. I could only track the members. I couldn't track the other. So probably if you averaged out even the people from YouTube, I'm pretty sure people went through it multiple times. And here's why, because it basically makes sense. It makes sense because in order for you to become something, you have to act like it. You have to think, you have to act, and you have to become. Does that make sense? Think, act, and become. The trader's mind was used to help traders think about being a trader, and then how to act as a trader, to become a trader. And that's why we're creating this. The Trader's Mind, Think, Act, Become, a master series. Why did we do this? This is crazy. You already have a trader's mind. Yeah, we created Trader's Mind to be a quick, fast sense to learn how to become like a trader by creating yourself to act like it, by giving you 5-minute trades to get in and out and go over to Nadex and start training it. But it's going to even be cooler than that. The ATM Master Series will have lessons on everything. This series, and I don't know how else to say this, is going to be one price. Okay? No reoccurring for the series. Okay? No reoccurring for the series. If you wanted extra tools and stuff, there might be some costs for tools like indicators and extra things if you needed them. But the series itself, how to learn how to do the series, how to do the signals and everything. You're going to learn, of course, the mentality behind the training, behind it, right? You're going to learn the ins and outs of all the product that are out there, Nadex, Forex, all of them. You're going to learn them all, right? So you have a better decision on which one you want to do, depending on your own mentality. We're going to discuss the assets, the control of assets. That's candlesticks, that's bars, that's all these different things. We're talking about strategy, right? You're going to learn probably 4 or 5 major keyline strategies that are out there, right? London Open, the sauce and sushi, all that stuff out there, right? You're going to learn some time emergence. You're going to learn, there's so much stuff in here, right? That you're going to learn this in this one series of Trader's Mind. And then, okay, and then you're going to learn how to apply it. This is going to take 4 weeks because you're going to visit a webinar, right? And then have a week worth of training and demo. You're going to be trading out and demo. You're going to be trying certain things out at certain times of the day at different processes, okay, depending on which ones you pick. And then the following Wednesday, you'll show up for another, because this will be live. This will be a live webinar. And for the first 4 webinars, they'll be live for everybody to take part of. And we'll record each one, and then we'll have this series to where it's a rebroadcast for everybody, so they can go through the same thing. We may not be able to ask questions and have the before and after chat sessions like we normally do, but this is, you better prepare yourself for a 2-hour event for each one. I know that seems like a lot, but there's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of things that we have to discuss at that point. All right, about a half hour prior to, there'll be questions and answers, and a half hour after, there'll be questions and answers. So you have about an hour's worth of me talking to you about the process, then you got homework, and you have a whole bunch of other things. This solution is probably the biggest we've ever put together. So Monday of next week, we'll start the pre-sale webinar where we're going to put this product out there to the world. We're going to start letting the world know, not just all of you, okay? You guys are going to get the advance notice and you have discounts because you're members. But why are we doing this? This is the big thing. So on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of next week, we'll have the pre-sale webinar happening, and then it'll continue to happen because everything will sort of go evergreen, right? It'll always be running. There'll always be more people coming in. There'll be people leaving. There'll be people getting the aha and moving on, but they're paying their money, and it's a one-time cost, and it's going to be huge for all of you because at the end of it, just like with a trader's mind, you sort of get that aha moment. Let me see where I'm at. One, we did this because you asked for it. And you wanted the secret solution on how to become worry-free, if you will, of all the monthly fees and being, people are like, can you just teach us how to do the signals? And we want, did you have a program like that? Can I just come in and learn how to do the signal so I can go and I don't have to follow a signal or wait for it, right? Because you're all saying that all the time. I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day and wait for a signal. I want to learn how to do this so I can go to my computer and do it anytime. In this series, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you one of the things that's not even really even about the signals. Combined all together, it could be the signal itself. Later on, we'll have webinars that show the secret of the daily and how the daily physically works and how you can call your own daily signal, or you can call the intraday signal, which then you could turn into any intraday, and the SR maxes, as well as even the 5-minute MDN. Yeah, we'll have webinars for it all because we sort of shifted here just recently. Do you know, a year or so ago, we came up with the concept of Dex signals. I'm sorry, 2 years ago, we came up with Dex signals. And a year ago, we had an aha moment. And the aha moment was, in order for us to be successful, we have to build relationship with our customers, right? And relationship is difficult because if you don't have sincerity and transparency, it's bullshit. And so we didn't want to have bullshit. We wanted to have real relationship with our customers. And I think we've accomplished that. I think we did actually really, really good with that. We created Dex Trader because we needed to have a location that was above and beyond signals, which we created. We created a trader station that was pretty powerful with a DPC network and the charting system and all these great and wonderful things. We had a training center that had the Nadex Ninja, the MetaTrader Mayhem, all those things. Dex Indicators was very popular because it had just the indication system to where people could use the tools. We wanted to create a one-stop shop for everything, but we couldn't figure out what it was that we needed to put in there. We didn't want to put signals, trader system, and indicators all in there. So we decided that it would be best, right? It would be best for us to take the mentality, what started it all, okay? What started it all, I put 2 eyes in there. What started it all and turn it into a master series, okay? Because now we needed to make you into a trader that could trade on your own, just with your own ideas and concepts, being able to look at structure, look at support and resistance, know what you're looking at, be able to go to a blank chart and set it up exactly like you want, to sit down in your time period and figure out, if the market hits here, do I go up or do I go down? Or do I put a sell stop signal in here, or where do I put that information in? And we knew immediately that once we started talking about this, it was going to take form. There's also a few webinars we're going to be doing that we're going to be inviting one of the other traders in, Thor, for his 20 minutes high and working with Ninja, and we're going to be doing advanced training on Ninja series trading platforms that can connect Forex, that can do other things as well, pretty powerful. But the new Ninja Trader 8 is out, and I'm very looking forward to that. I'm demoing that out today and over the next couple of days. Thor says I'm going to be addicted to it, which I'm pretty sure I will be. But this is what we've come to. So next week on the 7th is when the system will release to be the control panel, and the member portal will all be on board. But the webinars start on the 7th that night. Okay, So you guys will have access to the control panel prior to. You'll get a pre-sale webinar invite to be able to come in there, because only the people that are getting in prior to will get the discount in there. On Wednesday the 7th, anybody buying on Wednesday the 7th will have to pay full price at that point. Now, we do have payment plans because it is expensive. I won't say too expensive. If you've been trading, if you've been doing, if let's say before I tell anybody the price of it, what would be the cost of something like this? Not that I'm trying to sales pitch you. As all of you that are in there, I see some great names in there that I trust wholeheartedly. Okay, what would be a cost of this? That would be something that would be manageable but obtainable, but worth every penny of it. $2,000? $1,500? Ready? I'm going to do the Ginsu knife on you. $1,000? What if I told you that it was 16 easy payments in $19.95 now? Anybody in the room can answer? $1,000? Something to that effect, right? We have payment systems you could do, 3 payments, 2 payments to get to that point. But now imagine never having to use signals again. Now imagine not having to depend on a time of day for a signal to come out, sit by your phone, do what have you. That you can go to your station of work and make them happen anytime that you want. And find those solutions and see when they happen, see when the pattern is. Set yourself longer term trades, shorter term trades, all of it. You'll learn it all. I'm taking everything that I've learned from every type of process, every strategy, and putting into one giant learning system that's all for one price. This way, you don't have to worry about always having on, and if you don't have it, you won't have the signal no more. You will never go without. And in there's there'll be a business course of the process that'll help you, because once you start making money, you got to worry about tax, you got to worry about those things. All that's going to be in there. We already have 90% of it ready. We're preparing the webinars, we're preparing the times to meet, we're preparing all of this. And why have we done this? Like I said, is because we have been asked so many times by so many people to be able to do this. Now, if you're unsure that if it's too steep for you, if the price is too steep, don't worry. Stay with signals. Keep pushing forward. If you want to write us and make some deals or put something in, hey, I need 5 payments or I need 10 payments or whatever it is, I'm willing to do anything to help you get to that point. If you're one of our seniors and you've been here and you've been busting your ass, and we can do some trade outs, you can help us run some customer service, whatever. I'm willing to help anybody who's in earshot of this webinar or is in the chat room or that we'll be sending this email out to. I want you to get that next level for you. Now, it seems kind of weird, right? That the signals company would give away all their secrets. Don't worry. We're always going to have the need. People always have the need for signals. Right? There'll always be people out there who will want to have the signals. They can graduate to those areas. We can have them have opportunity over there. In the meantime, too, there's a kick-ass affiliate program over there. Pays out 20%. So you could send one person and make $200. Pretty kick-ass, right? Oh, by the way, the cost of $1,000 is that if you show up on Wednesday and buy it from there. There's a couple payment systems that will make it like $1,200. But there is if you're a Dex member, if you're already a member, it's like $800. It's like $800. It's crazy. We're giving a couple $100 off for just being a member and doing what you've done. So there is. I know it seems weird. You're always trying to sell us something more, but this is like the final hurrah for all of you. This is like if you've been here and you've exhausted your experiences with the signals, or maybe it's something that's fitting into you or it's not fitting into you, or you love the signals and what are you talking about, Max? Why are you giving me anything else? Then don't worry about this. Stay with signals and do what you're doing. But let me tell you right now, the importance of this for some of you is what's keeping you from being to the next level. You need to know where everything is at. There's some of you, Hugo, that are very, 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 very intelligent, right? And the numbers may be getting in your way at some point or another. With your experience, you go, this is a fit for you. I can guarantee you that. Because you're going to be able to take now everything else I'm showing you and be able to apply it to those numbers you've been broadcasting to me. Other people that are in the room, Jim Frickson. If this is something that you desire to have, then it will work for you if you make it work. Cliff M and Chris, same thing for you. Kerry Williams, absolutely. The concept is all about getting in and doing and making it happen. Final thoughts for today. I promise I won't go off too far. I'll make it very simple. Your trading life is what you make it. My trading life at times is so wonderful. When I isolate myself in that zone and I look at my markets and I pick my trades, and at the end I got money to show for my efforts, even if I do have a loss, the thankfulness that I have to be able to be sitting in my chair in my house, in my office, and leave my day, open up my door and see my kids. I've been working at home now for 9 years. Almost 10 now. Here in 26 more days, it'll be 10 years. And to have that opportunity to be able to do that, to be my own person, to be my own boss, to be my own entrepreneur, to make my own decisions, is one of the most powerful things. But it wasn't always easy. I made it tough on myself for a long time. I made a lot of mistakes. Learn from my mistakes by taking advantage of some of the things that we have and the experiences we have. Now, it's one thing to make it okay, to make it sustainable, but how do we make it great? We make it great by simply making it great for us. And it becomes very easy once you envision it and you think about it, you act like it, and then you become it. Acting isn't faking. Acting is taking on the role of what you want it to be. And this isn't just some vision tech or the secret kind of process, okay? This is not universal laws of attraction, if you will. This is more about becoming and embodying what does a successful person do. Does a successful person sit down on their couch, drinking a beer on a Friday afternoon when they should be finishing out their week of work or figuring out their trades? Are they in on a Wednesday morning kind of figuring out, you know what, I think I'm just going to go relax today in my lawn chair. I can work from home. I can do it. No. Making it great does not mean taking it easy. There's work to be done. You can take it easy. You can take it to your time. I don't know if you guys have ever, Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Guy spells it out for you with a whole bunch of F-bombs and everything else, but he lays it on the line, man. If you're complaining about money, shut up and work. If you're happy where you're at, man, enjoy it. Take the vacay, do whatever. If you got the money and you've made your things and this is just supplemental and you got it, ignore Max right now and go party. But if you're complaining, if you're worried, if you're freaking out, what am I going to do? Shut up and work. That's what it comes down to. So only you can make it great by the hard work and determination that you put in. Some of you that are here today, you're here. This is part of that work, and I thank you. So at this time, I want to thank everybody that watches after the fact to get to this point, because you put in work too to get to this point. Thank you very much for getting through this video and being here now. I want to thank everybody in the chat room for being here as well, and we'll have the questions and answers right afterwards. For everybody else that's watching after the fact, thank you again. I look forward to seeing you inside. We'll see you in the next video. And as always, trade well. I'm Max Farrell, and this is DexTrader.com. See you next time.